hello, Cari. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
How old were you when you discovered you had a passion for dance? And did you go to dance academy or dance
Yes,
school?
yes. My parents put me in dance when I was 3. I was a very active child, and they just thought it would be good for me in several ways. Teach me grace and poise and all those things, and also eat up some of my energy. And from that moment on, like, I never wanted to do anything else. I wanted to go to as many dance classes as I could per week, and uh, yeah, I never wanted to do anything else. So
So you did follow a training. You went to a dance school or dance academy, as we say.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
here in Las Vegas, or did you move to Las Vegas because of the dance and the show that you wanted to perform?
At the time, I moved to Las Vegas because I got a job in Follies Bergere. And at the time, I was living in Arizona, where I had gone to ASU and received a degree in dance.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
And
I,
so it was for you. It was natural to become a dancer because you have been trained at the age of 3, very young age, and you always wanted to do that. And did in your family, do you have um, dancers in your family? Is it
yeah,
in your family's blood?
sort of. My parents were both very like artsy theater people, and my dad kind of was a dancer. Like back in the 50s and 60s, like, dancing was popular. You'd go to a dance or a sock hop, or square dancing was really popular. So my dad was a dancer in that aspect. And then later in life, like, he was an ice skater at one point, and then he was a tap dancer at one point. So yeah, there was dance in my family. And my mom
um,
was very theatrical.
Mhm. And in what cabaret or what Las Vegas productions have you and your talented performers started?
So I was in Follies Bergere, and I never left. It was an awesome job. I loved it. We were a very tight knit cast, so I stayed there for 12 years until the show closed. And I bounced around after that for a little bit. I never did another show, but I did showgirl gigs and industrial gigs and hair shows and modeled and stuff for a little bit after that, before I took over Premier Showgirls. And the girls that I work with are all like real legit showgirls. They've been in Follies, Peep Show, Jubilee, you name it. They've danced in shows all up and down the strip and abroad.
So you need to be very rigorous and have a regular physical practice and be it's a lifestyle to be a dancer. What are the required qualities besides that for a good showgirls dancer or cabaret dancer?
So when I'm booking my showgirls, and that's the the majority of the gigs I get and the events I book are for the showgirls. So I'm very traditional, and I work with girls that are 5'9" and over, and 99% of them have dance training and, like I said, have been in shows. But the prerequisite is you have to be a tall girl. Like, really, to pull off the costume and just being a showgirl and the traditional, I like to upheld the tradition of the showgirl and a real live showgirl. So that's why I use the tall girls.
Mm-hmm. So you have to be, you have to know some techniques, of course, and you have to be um, uh, performing and be in sync with all those other girls, and it's really technical. It's not meant for everybody.
Correct. It's a lot of
And
rehearsal.
it's a lifestyle, so you have to have a healthy life and eat certain kind of food, or is there very difficult to follow this kind of lifestyle?
I think all performers figure there is probably a rough start to figuring out your body type and how to stay in shape and but performers kind of figure it out for themselves. Everybody has their own like workout regimen and their own diet to keep themselves healthy. It's not like, for me, it's not as much about them being, wafer thin as being healthy. The showgirls typically, and especially the further back you go, they were very healthy, very voluptuous women with very curvy. So I tend not to encourage them to diet and be wafer thin, because that's really not what a showgirl is. You have
Yes.
to be healthy, and of course, if you're dancing, 3 or 4 hours a day, you're going to be pretty fit and healthy, and of course, as an entertainer, you're always your own worst critic. So there's that.
Can we say that the Premier Showgirls is a burlesque show, but not only a burlesque show, because you also can go to perform for other event that clients want. It could be maybe a private event or corporate event. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, the showgirl, most of what I do with Premier Showgirls is corporate events and private events. So it can be very corporate friendly, we say, very covered and a little bit less risque. And, typical showgirl routines are pretty simple and not very burlesque in style. So it's very different, and I work really hard to stay traditional, yet work with corporate clients and private clients that want a little bit more, like I said, corporate friendly, tamer review. But I also produce a very traditional burlesque show. So, and that's very different from a showgirl show, because it is, the art of the tease, and it is stripping. I don't like to call it that, because they're not strippers, they're
No,
performers.
they are beautiful. They have beautiful costumes, and they they are actually, with a lot of um, beads and feathers and those beautiful costume, which that's bring me to another question: who draw and make your costumes?
So I make a lot of them. But I also, work with other designers sometimes. And if there's a show, like a production company that's getting rid of some costumes, like I purchase costumes from them. But I would say 90% of the costumes I build myself, or me and an assistant build, depending on, the time frame. If I'm under a huge time crunch, or I need, a lot of one, then I bring in an assistant, or some dresser friends, seamstress friends of mine, to help me with those. But for
How
the
long
most
does
part,
it how long does it take to make a costume?
it's really hard to say. Like the actual building of the costume pieces, like the sewing, doesn't take very long. It's the beading and the sequining and the rhinestoning and the adding all the embellishments that takes a long time, because they're either hand set with glue, and then the glue has to dry, and then you do the next round and they have to dry, or you're stitching on the individual beads or rhinestones, and that takes time. building of the hats is probably the most time consuming, because it's a lot of gluing pieces together and letting it dry, and then soldering pieces together and then letting that cool. And it's just so many pieces and parts that have to be put together. So it's a lot of put it together and let it wait, put it together and let it glue. Like, so the hats can take probably 2 to 3 days to build. And like I said, a lot of it's just waiting for things to dry and cure and cool off.
Does the client choose the color of the costume they want, and um, what are the types of clients that request your service as dancers?
So I have a whole warehouse full of costumes ranging in all different colors: red, white, blue, pink, orange, yellow, black, like pretty much like almost any color that a client could want. Like I said before, most of my clients are corporate entities, either here in town for a wedding, a meeting, a convention, a trade show, and sometimes they want the showgirl in the booth. Sometimes it's for the opening ceremony. Sometimes it's for a client appreciation cocktail party or other party. But 90% of my clients are corporations or corporate entities that are in town for trade show or convention.
Did they ever ask you to do a French cancan?
A couple times, yeah.
We love that.
I love it. I mean, there was like the can number in Follies was my favorite number. It was like the best number. And how can you be a dancer and not just love the can? I mean, it's just so iconic and like high energy and fun. Yeah, I love it. So any chance I get, I will do a can.
So today you own and you manage the Premium Showgirls. That is a lot of work and responsibilities, I imagine. What is your daily rhythm? So one day of your work, what does it look like?
So I'm almost back to my typical day. So usually what I do the first thing in the morning is emails. I have, contracts going in and coming in and going out, and checking in on those. And then I go through and answer the requests for quotes or requests for proposals, and I do that. And then if contracts have come back in and I need to send contracts out to talent, then I do that. So I spend a good chunk of my morning on the computer doing emails and paperwork. And then it depends, like sometimes I do have afternoon gigs or early evening gigs. Then I get the costumes ready for that and pull the costumes for that. Or I have the talent come by to pick up costumes, or I'm maintaining costumes, repairing costumes, building new costumes. And
Yes,
then,
you have a full hand of work.
yeah, I'm busy. I'm a busy girl.
Yes, you're busy. And what is your next project, and what are you on what project are you right now? You said tonight you are going to perform.
Yeah, like I said, I produce a burlesque show here in town. It's called BurlesQ, and we run Thursdays through Sundays at Alexis Park. So the next 4 days are pretty busy for me. The show's at 9:30, so I'm there like 8 to get the costumes ready to go and make sure all the repairs that needed to be done got done. Make sure everything's set in the theater. There are shows before us and after us. Make sure all my talent is taken care of and ready to go. So I will do that. And then during the day, if there's any repairs I have to do for those costumes, or if I have other corporate gigs or private events going on, doing that during the day and getting that taken care of. So if that's going on simultaneously, like I have talent there and managing that event or gig as we call it, while I'm at the show running the show.
Where can we buy a ticket for tonight or this weekend, or how long is the show? Actually, it's a continuous show that for at least this year. Or
Yeah, we've been running since December 18th. So
okay.
4 nights a week. You can get tickets at ticketkite.com. Or just hit me up on social media and I can arrange for tickets sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
can you give us your maybe your contact on the social media?
yeah, I'm Premier Showgirls on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook. So if you look Premier Showgirls, you can find me, and all those links are on my website as well. My phone number is 702-524-4190. You can call me or text me. My email address is on the top of my website, so I won't bother.
Okay, so perhaps we can reach out to you and either go to the show or even book a special request for your service and have a private event with you joining the corporate or more like a private um, company or public maybe also. So anyway,
Any
for
type
those,
of event.
I'm sorry.
Any type of event. We do
Yeah, any
any
type
type
of
of event.
event. So that's wonderful, and so really, I'm glad we were able to connect because I feel that France and Las Vegas as this connection with the Follies Bergere, and so it's a way for us to connect to the community. And thank you again for your time, Cari, for answering my questions.
Of
And
course.
we we will look forward to follow you on your social media. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's wonderful. I'm so honored to be on the show. Thank you.
My pleasure.